Hello, hello. My name is Noel, and welcome to Slung Rod Garage. You're actually at my house. Slung Rod Garage is not a actual place. It's more of an idea, more of my dream goal of what I want to do in my car world. But I do have a shop in the backyard, so it's kind of a place. But for right now, I just want to introduce myself and show you some of the projects I've got going on here. So the nicest one and the prettiest one I keep. This has been in the family for a very long time. Belonged to my grandfather. 48 Chevy business coupe. It's all original and it does run. Got it running the other day. Haven't had to do too much to it to keep it kept. Just needed a carburetor rebuild not too long ago, and now, yeah, get in it, fire it up, take it to town. Out here, cars that maybe aren't so much fun, but aside from just working on them, I have my used car dealer's license. And so one of the things I like to do is find $500 cars on Facebook and flip them. So this Buick, it was a little more than $500, but I thought it was worth it because it's in such good shape. The outside and the inside are. The engine was another story. I bought it because the guy said all it needed was timing chains, which is a standard thing for these. So I was like, all right, I'll rip the engine out, put timing chains in it, and let it be gone. The engine wouldn't turn over, so had to put a whole new engine in it, and those things are expensive. So I'm still going to make money on it, but anyway, it was a mess. Then I've also got this. Let me show you this thing. I didn't know what it was. It's a Chevy Captiva. Apparently that's Chevy's line of fleet vehicles. So if you have like an insurance company that needs to send a bunch of employees out for claims or whatever, you could buy these in mass quantity, I guess, from Chevy. And it belonged to one of my friends who owns a business. They needed to get rid of it, so they called me because they know I will buy and sell junk any chance I get. The Grand Marquis, not for sale. That's my daily driven baby. So if we go for a walk down here, we start heading into more of the older, junkier stuff. Like lawnmowers. So down here I have 1977 International Scout 2. This is the vehicle that I really learned how to wrench on. It belonged to my dad. I guess you could say still belongs to, I don't know. It's just family vehicle. And not too much work has been gone into it to make it better. It's always just been work to get going for a month or two, and then we park it and don't touch it for a couple years. But it is all original. It does run and drive. And I think the transmission's slipping, so might have to do a liquid rebuild on it. But I think this is like the last thing that I would ever sell. But yeah, so it's on the to-do list to get it more. I'd like it to be a daily driver. Maybe not in like the dead of winter or the heat of summer, but in spring and fall, I would like this to be like my vehicle. It's nothing much to look at on the inside, but it does have sentimental value. It is cool. Out of all the projects I have, this is the one that gets probably the most attention, most likes. Actually, my girlfriend loves this thing, and she helped me bleed the brakes on it this past weekend. So, that's certainly another reason to get it back on the road. So now let's go to the actual shop. This was built by me and my dad, oh Lord, I don't know, mid-90s maybe. I was just a little kid out here operating a boom truck, getting this thing put up with him. But anyway, this is our 65 Chevy C10. We've had this thing for years. We bought it. I want to say it was original. It had a light blue paint job on it that, in retrospect, we probably should have left alone and then just patinaed it. But it came with a straight 6. And of course, the first thing I did when it got home was take that out and put a V8 in it. I think this one came out of some old dually truck that we had. But anyway, I think the only thing that hasn't been done to this truck is that the actual cab be taken off the frame. So the front end and rear end came out of some late model, like early 90s Chevy truck. So it rides better, it's got better brakes, engine runs much better. Inside's about as clean as you can get them. It has air conditioning. I love this radio. It looks like an old style radio, but it's new style, AM, FM, Bluetooth, anything you want. So this is one of our get in, crank it up, go wherever you want in it. And then we are a Cummins family. I kind of cut my teeth mechanicking on diesels, because when I was 15, 16, Dad bought us a 24 valve, and so of course I would drive it back and forth to high school, and I got hooked up with some of the diesel boys, which back then diesel is nowhere near what it was today. But I've always had a soft spot in my heart for diesels. I actually worked at a diesel shop for one summer. But anyway, this is his truck, and this bed, he built it from scratch. He's an iron worker by trade. So yeah, lots of days working in shop with hot metal with him. But then this is the shop. It might look messy, but it's not. No, it's very messy. But I know where everything is in it, and it gets the job done. I know I like to joke about that line in Fast and Furious when Dom says, if you can't find a tool in this shop, you don't need to be working on cars. Well, that's about true. It might not look like it has much, but if you can't fix something in here, it can't be fixed. Anyway, this is my Harley. This came from Dad. He was at a swap meet. I think he was at Moultrie, and somebody had just the frame and the engine in the back of their truck and a box full of melted parts. Apparently the motorcycle had been in a garage fire, melted to the ground, and so he just threw the parts in the back of his truck, brought it home and said, hey, figure out how to put this back together. I know nothing about motorcycles, but I don't know. I just took it one piece at a time, and this was the end result. I've got it back in here now because I need to put the last little touches on it to make it actually street legal. Because I took it to get it inspected, but the gentleman there said that you have to have what I need. I need turn signals, I need a horn, I need a speedometer, an odometer, and something else. Oh, mirrors. So those will be in today, and then I can start putting them on and get this thing road legal. Then we have another old Chevy. This one literally dug out of a barn that had fallen on it. and then a tree had fallen on that barn. It was a part of my grandpa's collection, and when he was passing away, he had, I don't know, 50, 70 of these old things out back. And this one, he sold all of them to get money. And this one was too hard to get out, so they said, no, we don't want it. So when he was on his deathbed, I pulled it out and started working on it and said, I'm going to get this back on the road. And so, yeah, this will be another one that won't leave the family. But when I drug it out, the frame that it was on was, I don't know, like it was made out of a pine cone. So what we did was we went and bought I think it's a 1988 Chevy Caprice. And we just took the body off the Caprice, and we took this body off of that crappy frame that it was on. We just stuck the two together. So now this has a late model frame under it. It has late model brakes. Well, I say late model. It's late model to me. It's still really old. But this one, believe it or not, it does run and drive. I have driven it around. But yeah, this is the amount of work that has gone into this thing. I mean, it's hours and hours and hours of putting it back together. I will make separate videos of all these vehicles in a little more detail, mainly so that I can remember them and I can look back on the work that's been put into them. But anyway, right now, yeah, this is Slung Rod Garage, and I look forward to documenting the rest of these builds and new ones. So thanks for watching.